Hello, book friends. What's up? How's it going? I was moving my room around a little bit here. We had some painting done at my house, and so I was putting everything back, and I thought, well, I wanted to try to film without the pretty floral pattern wall artwork that I have behind me and see if I liked it. I feel like it kind of looks boring. I don't know. Tell me what you think. I mean, I kind of like the pretty pattern behind me, but then I looked at my shirt and I was like, oh wow, that's a lot for today. Anyway, I wanted to start the video out by sharing some book mail that I got recently. I did post this on my social media. I always try to post when I get sent a book from an author or when a giveaway, which is an actual real paper copy of a book, which I love. And so the first book that I got recently was Filthy Little Pretties by Trelina Pucci. I did a video, I should still hold it up. I did a video on this book. I just recently did a video on the second book in the series. What is it? The Hillcrest Prep series? Don't quote me. But also the second book was called Vicious Little Snakes. So this is a great series. If you like YA, like lots of drama and angst type of romance. And then the second book I got was part of the Salvation Society, which I also just did a video on Alexandra Silva's. It was actually my video that I posted just before this, Alexandra Silva's Endurance, and that was part of Salvation Society. And then Georgia Kaufman was so sweet to send me her part in the Salvation Society, which is Unbreakable. I was trying to read it and make sure I got it right. I'm so excited to read it. I talked about in my video how I love what the Salvation Society books are like, at least what my assumption is. And so I'm so excited to read this one as well. So thank you so much to Trelina and to Georgia for sending those. I'm so appreciative. Let's get to talking about today's video. Wow, you guys. Oh my gosh, this one I went through the ringer with this book, like in the best way. The book is titled The Sound of Temptation by Dylan Allen. I have done 2 previous videos, I think, on Dylan's books. The Jezebel, oh my gosh, probably one of my favorite books ever. One of my favorite books of 2020, bar none for sure. And then I also did, way back when my channel first started, I can't remember the name of it right now, but that being said, I love Dylan's stories. There's this familial base of her stories that she really does so well. The familial relationships, the families are always tight-knit, there's always family drama, but yet the characters themselves are very strong and independent. But I love how she weaves those family relationships into her stories, and that the stories are that's the foundation. And then also the women, I mean, okay, the men too, let's be real, but her women characters, I should get the lingo correct, is that the heroine, are freaking rock stars. And I have to say that, like, it makes me think even more of Dylan because she's so wonderful, and I can't wait because she's supposedly legendary with her hugs. So I can't wait till I get to meet her at a signing one day, because let me tell you, I'm gonna beeline straight for her and get one of those hugs. I was really excited about reading The Sound of Temptation. I knew that it was a previous release work of hers under a different title. I think it was the Forever series. And then, but I think it was, I don't even want to speak incorrectly. I think it might have been 3 books. And then she rewrote it, adjusted some things, and then released it as The Sound of Temptation. So I don't know what it was. I just know what this is. And oh my God, you guys, my heart was just clenched the whole time. I very much am even having trouble, like, wanting to express how much this book just sucked me in. The book is about Carter and Beth. I think their families are from this kind of small town Texas, very affluent, lots of money. The families, there's tension. They like the older relatives like know of the families. It's kind of like that small town thing. They both have homes there, family homes there, but yet they live other places. So Carter is there and he's kind of taking his last summer as someone that's not known. He started a band. They've started to get some footing. His dad is helping them, and he's about to go out on tour. And he wanted some just peace and quiet before he did that. So they're young. Beth is there because she wants to get away from her family. Her mom is left the picture. Her dad is really not a nice character. Her sister unfortunately has passed. And then her brother, she's not that tight with. Their family is strained. In a lot of ways opposite from what Carter has, but Carter's family has got a whole bunch of drama too. So it was kind of interesting how they both were getting away from their lives and found themselves in this place that's very familiar to them and spending the summer there. Carter sees Beth and is taken by her. I think they're at a bar or maybe he's on the beach, and he's seen her around a little bit, and then he decides he's gonna go talk to her. I love the way Dylan writes and it describes her characters in their physical appearance. And then if you look at the cover of the book, which I will have of course popped up here, I mean, Carter is pretty hot and Beth is quite beautiful. There is something that, and I don't think I'm giving anything away, I had a lot of little personal connections to the story that surprised me in a way that like they were very personal. And one of them is Beth talks about having a port wine stain on her face. And those are varying degrees of, it's not a birthmark, it's more than that. So I don't know if you know what it is, but it's a skin thing and it can be very small, it can be very large. One of my daughters has one of those. Hers is actually right here. It's an oval in her forehead, and then when she was born, it was very prominent, and then she also had it under her nose and then on the back of her head. And it was one of those wait and see things where we talked to the pediatric dermatologist and we wanted to see what her body was going to do with it. And so we ended up having, I don't know if this is TMI, but she ended up having several laser surgeries to break up the blood vessels to diminish the stain a bit. And it's interesting because when she gets upset, it turns her blood vessels, because her blood starts pumping, and that's what it is. She gets real red here, even though it's not really that noticeable anymore, but it was one of those things that when Beth talks about having that, I knew exactly what it was. And I could picture her in my head, the way Dylan described her and how beautiful she is. And yet having this mark on her and knowing that when she is passionate about something, when she's upset about something, when her blood and her heart get going, you can see it. So it really made me connect with Beth on a different level. I think this is going to be a long video, you guys. Something interesting about Carter is that we find out pretty quickly on that he is the product of an affair that his dad had. When his dad found out that his birth mom, had him, and then I don't remember, did she die or she left? So his dad takes Carter and brings him home to his wife and his other sons. And he's raised with his stepmom, who he loves, and I loved their relationship. But I thought that was really interesting and how that affected Carter in his life. Carter goes on a journey to find out who his birth mother is after his dad passes, which is a little bit later in the book, but holy smokes, does that bring a whole different level of drama. Oh my gosh. But this is something that Carter says in the beginning to his dad. I'm sorry I pressed him to tell me the story because it hurts to know I'm the product of an act he's so ashamed of and he can't even say the words. I'm sorry I managed to drag you back to your personal pit of hell, but I'm sick of paying for a sin I didn't commit. There's tension about that, and like I said, it takes on a whole life of itself as part of the story. But that really showed me, and I tried to put myself in Carter's place and feeling that way and living that way. And it just showed me that his home, he didn't really have a home. And that when he met Beth, and Beth didn't really have a home, as far as where their soul and heart could lay safely. So when they met each other, oh my gosh, not only did sparks fly, but the connection that they have is palpable. You feel it the way Dylan writes it. And of course I knew there was drama coming. It's a book. But I just loved watching them and feeling all of that with them. It was really beautiful. Beth is an artist. She's got a keen eye. Her family doesn't really think that the art is really a thing for her. Her dad very much has her life arranged for her, which is why she's, taking that summer and trying to figure out like how she can be herself, and yet her father is holding all the purse strings. He's arranging a marriage for her. He's telling her what to study in college. He's got everything. She's like his little puppet. He's kind of nasty, and he's really cruel to her in a lot of ways, and you really feel that. But I want to share this passage from Beth's perspective when she talks about Carter and her artistry. And I thought Dylan wrote it so beautifully. I loved it. A little background is they've just kissed and it's Beth's first kiss. And it's like amazing. And then she says this: in my mind's eye, I see visions of us, our kissing mouths sealed together, eyes closed. Our bodies are midnight blue flecked with gold. We have stars for eyes and moonbeams for hair, and we hover above the ground on wings spun from silverly starlight. We are the most beautiful people I've ever seen, and I can't wait to draw us this way. He inspires her, how she feels for him. And remember I said that Carter's in a band, so he's a songwriter, singer, artist of his own, and how those, oops, I almost dropped my phone, how those two, how that's so much part of them and what that brings and how they live their lives later and how their love story affects their art was so cool. So as the story goes, the end of the summer comes and Beth is supposed to go to school, and I think that's what it was. And then Carter is supposed to go out on this world tour with the band. And both of their families are like, what have you been doing all summer? And they've both kept their relationship quiet and away from their families. And then Carter's dad just like sticks his nose in and tells Carter some stuff and shows him some things. And it's not that he lies to him, but it's not true. It's not accurate. And Carter, being the young man that he is, takes that for the truth. And, it was really sad because he kind of blows her off, and that's their first heartbreak. And oh my God, my heart broke. I didn't see that coming. And I just was like, dude, don't listen. But yet I remember what that's like when you see something and you think it's true because you don't know any different. And it was so sad. This is from Beth. If I had the power to turn back time, I would erase everything that came after that last night. Before he made me promises, he didn't even wait a full week to break. If I hadn't been so completely in love with him, I would have seen it coming. But as it was, I didn't. And the message he sent me on the Late Show was a vicious broadside. It broke my heart, but it was the lack of closure that made it unbearable. What happened to change his mind? Or had the whole thing just been a lie? These questions have plagued me, kept me up at night. I prayed one day he'd come to explain, to tell me why he hurt me. But as I lie here, alone and in peril because of him, I realize it doesn't matter why, it only matters that he did. Oh my God. It was horrible. And then this is from Carter. Beth is all I can think about, and the text message she sent me this week. I rummage through my backpack, pull my phone out, and scroll until I find it. The first message was a link to a clip of the interview I'd done. I'd avoided watching the playback, but figured it couldn't hurt to take a look after all this time. I'd been wrong. I remember waiting for the question I knew was coming and how eager I was to say the words I knew would make everyone else laugh and her sorry. No, the song isn't about anyone. I never have been in love, but the beautiful women in the city make me think my luck is about to change. The text she wrote below the video made it clear my words had hit their target. I can't wait for you to wake up one day and realize that you lost what you lost when you lost me. I hope you choke on your regret. I hope the aftertaste of your lies tastes like shit and lasts forever. F you, Carter. Oh, God, it was horrible. Dylan really does have this magical way with words that I just get. She's one of those authors that her writing just, I feel it, I can see it, and it's really poetry. I mean, it's just gorgeous. I want to share one of my favorite passages that, of course, I was like, oh my God, highlight that. It's just a random passage, but I thought it was beautiful. New York City is a glittering sea of ostentatious audacity and unapologetic grandiosity. It's stuffed to the gills with marvels that cast even the most interesting human being into the shade. Okay, it's like gorgeous, right? Oh. So the book then picks up 10 years later. And something that I really liked was that you get the feeling with Beth and Carter that they are each other's soulmates and that their hearts are back with each other, but their lives have taken them completely separate directions and they have had no contact. That being said, they can't leave that love behind. They have carried it with them. Neither one of them is okay without the other, even though it's 10 years later, and they've tried to get on with their lives. They have never really dated anybody else. They're just guarding their hearts because their hearts are with each other. Her friend Dina actually says people with destinies have to be ready because it's going to come knocking and you got to be ready for it. And she's talking about Carter. I couldn't figure out how they were going to make their way back to one another. And then this extra layer of holy crapness happens where you're like, oh my God, now they're never going to be together. My jaw was just on the floor. And I was just so glad that it was one book, because if I would have read it when it was the series before and it was like cliffhangers between the books, I would have not been happy. But I knew that Dylan wasn't going to break my heart forever. And I knew they were going to find their way back to each other. I just wasn't sure how. When they see each other again for the first time in 10 years, I felt like I was there with them. My heart was beating so fast. I had tears. I mean, I'm getting teary now. I had tears in my eyes like the whole time they were interacting. And you just feel their sadness and their anger towards each other and the baggage that is there because of the choices that Carter made. Really, it was his fault. Beth says, a million emotions, a million fears, a million hopes, a million regrets, but I am not ready to face any of them. And she's trying to get out of the bar where they see each other and he's following her. And it's like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? And you're like, oh my God, but you have to talk to him. But oh my God, I don't want you to talk to him, but he wants to talk to her. Oh my gosh, it was a lot. And then he actually goes up on the stage to sing. Stop it. Okay, first of all, can I go back a little bit? The playlist for this book is amazing. And at one point early on in the book, I think it was early on in the book, Beth is singing All Cried Out by Lisa and the Cult Jam. Okay. And I remember, okay, so that song like killed me like when my first boyfriend broke up with me and I was 17, and it takes me right back there. And I can remember a couple months ago in my Facebook group, I always post Music Monday, and I just post a song that, either I heard and I like, or, whatever, something brings up memories, whatever, something in a book that I'm reading. And it was funny because I can remember posting that song, and then here it is in the book again. And then also Dylan talks about Carter singing The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face by Roberta Flack. I mean, go listen to that song, because it just, like, it's making me teary just thinking about it and thinking about them. So let's get back to what I was saying before, which is Carter goes up on stage and is going to sing a song. And this is from Beth's perspective. The piano continues to play for nearly a minute, the same melody over and over. Just when I think I'll die from sitting here, he starts to sing. The clear, rich tenor sends a rush of goose flesh over my entire body. It's still the most beautiful sound I've ever heard. My eyes open on their own accord, and I turn finally to look at him. He's riveting. The light bounces off his boat head. I'm like getting teary, so like I'm having trouble reading. The light bounces off of his bowed head, shooting prisms of light through his dark hair. When our gazes meet, he doesn't look away, and neither do I. He smiles at me, and I find myself smiling back, like I'm not melting on the inside, like we didn't just have that wretched conversation, like we're still what we used to be. God help me, but my memory sold this feeling short. It's like flying. I want to go to him and put my arms around him, to soothe his hurt and let him soothe mine, to ask him why he left me all alone after he promised he wouldn't. And why is he here now when it's too late for us? Oh, dude, let me tell you. I was like, it is not going to be too late. This can't happen. I need them to be okay. I need this to be a happily ever after. And at that point in the book, I could not figure out how the heck that was going to happen. Something I really loved about Carter is that he just... And I loved it about Beth too, let's be real. But he said these things, sentences that just were like zingers. And one of them was, that I of course highlighted, he says, what's the point of living if you don't expect anything out of life? And how true is that? Now, I am one that I have learned in my old age to manage expectations and assumptions about situations. I really try. But doesn't that tell you so much about Beth, in that she doesn't expect she can have anything good? She doesn't expect that she can live anything beyond what's right in front of her, because she feels like she is backed into a corner and she has no way out. It just, when he said that, I was like, oh, my heart. And then he also said a little bit later, baby, real love stories, the ones worth telling, they never end. Oh, okay. And my tagline, this is one of those super personal connections I had to the book. My tagline for my channel is, a true love story never ends. And here it is with Carter and Beth. Oh, just perfection. Dylan nailed it. Let me know if you have read The Sound of Temptation or which of Dylan's other books you have read. You know I always love to hear. I would love to have you hit the subscribe button and give the video a thumbs up while you're here. When you do that, it really helps my channel, and it will help this video get shown to more people here on YouTube. Also, don't forget to come over to my social media, which is Kat Reads Romance, on Facebook and Instagram, and say hello to me over there. I would love to also have you join my group on Facebook. It's a private group. It's a bunch of authors and fellow bloggers and readers, and I welcome you over there, which is Kat's Romance Readers. Just put it in the search bar on Facebook and you'll find it. Remember, I always put a direct to Amazon link to the book in the description box so you can grab it straight from there. I highly recommend you do. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.